If you are a PC gamer, a keyboard and mouse is always your default controller input. But in games like Rocket League, FIFA or any other AAA title, a controller can sometimes come in handy. My name is Yadullah, you're watching Candid.Technology, and in this video we're reviewing the Xbox Series S X controller on a Windows 11 PC. So the controller comes in this Xbox box with Microsoft's branding. You get a feature overview at the bottom, you get what's inside the box, so you get the wireless controller and 2 batteries to get you started, and yes, this does use removable batteries. So the unboxing experience is actually pretty simple. You get the controller, an instruction manual which tells you to download the Xbox Accessories app, and how to pair it with your phone, with the Xbox, or with any other device that you want. So let's get the manual aside and let's get the controller out. So once it's out of the box, the first thing that you'll notice is the controller is quite heavy, but it's not so heavy that your hands will get tired when playing with it. And the reason behind that are the vibration motors in this controller. So you get 2 kinds of vibrations. You get trigger vibrations, and then you get the regular controller rumble. And the vibration works really well, even in Windows game where it's not exactly completely supported over a wireless connection. More on that later. Other than the vibration, the build quality overall is pretty good. It's built of this soft touch plastic on the top and these small grippy plastic handles that do their job well of keeping the controller in your place. But if you have sweaty hands, this can get a little disgusting, so watch out for that. The joysticks are also pretty smooth. You have this concave thumb cup here to put your thumbs in and make sure that you're controlling them precisely. They are pod based joysticks, which is a bit of a bummer, but considering Microsoft doesn't even implement Hall effect joysticks in its most expensive controller, the Xbox Elite lineup, it's no surprise that we get to see pod-based joysticks here. Other than that, the face buttons have the Xbox ABXY embossed in them from the looks of it. It has a really cool 3D effect to it, and they're pretty clicky, pretty tactile, so they're basically good buttons to hit. The same goes for the D-pad. The D-pad on this thing is actually surprising. This is one of the best D-pads I've ever had on a controller, and I've burned through a fair share of controllers. Regardless, you have your D-pad, then at the bottom you have the accessory hole, and then the hole for a 3.5mm headphone jack. Both of these will be useless if you're using it on a Windows computer. And then we come to the shoulder buttons and the triggers. The triggers have some really nice pressure to them, so you can actually precisely control them if you're playing a racing game or a shooter on a controller on a PC. I don't really know why you would do that, but if you want, the option is there. The shoulder buttons, they aren't like clicky, so you won't get that tack sound that you get on cheaper controllers. They feel premium to hit. And then the triggers are also pretty good in that regard, as they give you that control, that depth that you need in order to precisely control your inputs. So if you want to hear how these buttons sound, so yeah, that's the overall build quality impressions. It's actually one of the better built controllers you'll find if you go around looking for PC controllers on just about any marketplace. Now, while you can connect it to an Xbox using the inbuilt receiver that all Xboxes come with, when you're connecting it to a PC, you have 2 options. You can either use Microsoft's 2.4 GHz adapter, which costs extra and is an additional package, so we won't be including it in this review. But if you want to connect it to your Windows PC or to your phone with no additional accessories right out of the box, you need to use Bluetooth. Pairing is actually quite simple. All you have to do is hold down this connection button for 3 seconds. The Xbox controller light will start blinking, and your controller will pair to your computer. Pairing is a one-time process, so once you've paired it with your computer, you don't really need to repair it again and again. The second you turn the controller on, it will automatically pair to the last connected device, whether that's your phone or computer or whatever device you were using it last time with. Pairing is also very good since Microsoft accessories actually have this really good way of connecting to Windows machines, and I don't know if that's an ecosystem thing or whatever, but connection over Bluetooth is extremely stable. There are no dropouts, no latency, no input lag, nothing of the sort. It's a very solid, stable connection, and you can use the controller without any headaches. An additional note is that since you're not using a 2.4 GHz wireless adapter, your inputs won't be mixed with any other 2.4 2.4 gigahertz wireless adapters in the vicinity. This means if, for example, you're playing with multiple wireless controllers, they all come with their individual receivers, but those receivers, you can mix and match them in between controllers. Since a receiver isn't included in the equation here, you just get straight streamlined communication with your computer or with your phone. Finally, we come to battery life. So as you know, this controller takes two AA batteries. I've got Duracell Ultras in here. It didn't come with Duracell Ultras, but it did come with Duracell batteries. And you can expect to get around 8 to 10 hours on a single charge. So that is, or on a single set of cells. So that is pretty good. And since there is no internal battery here, you don't really need to worry about things like battery decay or the battery life shortening over time. You can just keep swapping these batteries out. If you don't want to get into the hassle of changing batteries every now and then, Microsoft and several other third-party companies sell these rechargeable battery packs for Xbox controllers, and you can just buy one and plop it in there. But then again, that's a separate purchase and we won't be covering it in this review. Finally, on to features. Now, this controller does have some features, but you don't get to use them in Windows PC environment. So your face buttons, these face buttons that you see, sure you can pick that up on the camera. These face buttons are practically useless on a Windows PC. The Xbox button only launches the Xbox game bar, which does give you some control, but then again, you can do it with just about any controller on the market. Last but not least, you don't get trigger vibration over a Bluetooth connection. And you also can't update your firmware or configure the controller over a Bluetooth connection. For that, you either need to use the USB port and connect it in a wired manner, or you have to use Microsoft's wireless adapter. Now that's not really a hassle. You can just set up the controller once over a wired connection, update its firmware, and then just use it with Bluetooth. But you do miss out on all of the vibration goodness that you would get with an Xbox or with Microsoft receiver. So that might make it a worthy investment if you're into that kind of thing. But if you just want to use it as a regular controller, it's perfectly fine for that. So right now this controller will run you around $70 or $60 on the Amazon marketplace, or basically anywhere else you can pick it. $60 is the standard price for Xbox controllers, and compared to something like a DualShock 5, while this doesn't have as many features, this does have compatibility with Windows, which is not what you can say for a lot of console controllers that are in the market. Now, if you just want a controller that you can play games on a PC with, spending $60 on an Xbox controller makes sense if you have the budget for it. If you want cheaper controllers, for example, the Red Gear Pro Wireless, it costs around $20, and it does everything that this controller does. It's not as well built, the vibration isn't as intense, you don't get firmware updates for your controller and things like that, and it works over a 2.4 gigahertz connection, which is surprisingly stable most of the times. But you still don't get this build quality, this feel, this comfort that you have in the Xbox controller. It's basically one of the most comfortable controllers I've used ever, compared to any third-party controllers or even the PS5 DualShock 5 controllers, because I tend to lean towards the Xbox layout of controllers. But if you're more into the PS5 layout, you're out of your luck here. But still, this is a very comfortable controller to hold, and it well justifies its price if you can afford it. If you really just want a simple controller for your PC, there are other options on the market that are far cheaper and will basically give you the same functionality. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and tell us in the comments below if we can cover more gaming peripherals like this for you. If you want to know more about tech, visit our website, Candid.Technology, follow us on social media, follow me on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll see you in the next video.